my prayers before the shrine, my thanks to thee, my love dressed in green.
Members of Igorot, Austria Cordillera, headed by its president, Madam Leonida Lunag Ostermeyer. I'd also like to greet the leaders and members of the Filipino community here in Austria. Mga kababayan, friends, ladies and gentlemen, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. My warmest congratulations to the members of Igorot Cordillera sa Austria, or Igorot Austria Cordillera, for your Grand Cañao celebration today. As you have announced earlier, it's the first ever here in Austria by this organization. So, maligayang pagbati po sa inyong lahat. The Igorot, congratulations po. The Igorot communities all over the world are perhaps one of the Philippines' truest examples of unity in diversity. The BIMAC, dati po yata BIBAC, no? Ngayon BIMAC, an acronym for 6 major Igorot provinces: Benguet, Ifugao, Mountain Province, Abra, Apayao, and Kalinga, and the 6 ethno-linguistic groups of the Igorots, namely Bontoc, Ibaloy, Ifugao, Isneg or Apayao, and the Kankanay. Kulang po ba yun? Kulang pa? These are languages according to the UNESCO. And my colleague, Consul General Charlie Manangan, was telling me earlier, these are really distinct, no, languages, and you don't really understand each other except for a few words. So I think the common language for most of these ethno-linguistic groups is Ilocano. Ako po, ang parents ko po ay galing sa Surigao, from Mindanao. So most provinces in the Visayas and in Mindanao, to be able to understand each other, even in our home province, Surigao, there are several languages. To be able to understand each other, we speak Cebuano, or Tagalog, of course, the national language. Now, this diversity in languages and in culture within the Igorot community has given us the closest glimpse also of a diverse yet close-knit Filipino culture untarnished by foreign influences. The momentum for solidarity among the Igorots is based on your shared goals and aspirations among the indigenous peoples of the Cordilleras, a region rich in natural resources, diverse, as I mentioned earlier, in ethno-linguistic identities of the various communities, yet closely united by its common identity and core values. Reading the book over the week, this week actually, I read a book entitled Igorot by Heart. I don't know, maybe most of you have read that book. It's a collection of essays and stories about the Cordilleras. And I am reminded of the beauty and uniqueness of your ethnicity. Your forefathers were unconquerable and fiercely independent. You were never conquered by the Spaniards or even the Americans. And fiercely independent, and detested anything that would curtail your freedom. But many of your forefathers also embraced Christianity and democracy, because these are offered freely and freely accepted without coercion. If your forefathers were successful in keeping their independence, it was also because they were interdependent among themselves and could come together against an enemy. The world also associates the Igorots with the rice terraces of the Cordilleras, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and we also proudly call as one of the wonders of the world. UNESCO has described the rice terraces of the Cordilleras as an outstanding example of living cultural landscapes, a landscape of great beauty that expresses the harmony between humankind and the environment. Indeed, every Filipino shares the pride of our Igorot brothers and sisters in the international recognition of the unique legacy of the rice terraces of the Cordilleras as the only monument in the Philippines that shows no evidence at all of having been influenced by colonial culture. We recognize that the Philippines, a united nation, yet diverse in its ethnicities, showcases the richness, historical depth, and brightness of the country's cultural heritage. As a nation, the Philippines' unity in diversity is powerful and affirming, a source of strength rather than weakness. Today, the Philippines is peaceful and progressive. We just had our elections, midterm elections, last Monday, the 13th of May, where Filipinos went to the polls to cast their votes for half of the membership of the Philippine Senate and all of the 286 members of the House of Representatives and their local officials, from governor down to the barangay officials. Also, that election was, according to the reports, has been one of the most peaceful and orderly elections in the country ever. Also, last October 15, we concluded a framework for a peace agreement in Muslim Mindanao. After FISM, that the current economic progress being experienced today in the country is a unique event, mainly because of President Benigno Aquino's trust at improving overall governance in the country. With a high job and trust approval rating, President Aquino's governing mantra is good governance is good economics, that good governance is the bedrock of an equitable and just society. His administration is in a position of strength to transform the country and implement even the most difficult anti-corruption reforms. Mga kababayan, kayo po, the Filipinos overseas, have helped us in this journey. Today, more than ever, we need you more. After all, our motherland, the Philippines, is on a mission to change for the better. Mga kababayan, through all these years, you have helped our motherland, the Philippines, and your communities back home. You have been heroic supporters of our economy, like so many global Filipinos. You have showered us with your continued generosity in sending money home, in organizing medical missions, in providing scholarships to poor but deserving young Filipinos, and in raising funds to build health centers, schools, and churches back home. You have been our ambassadors of goodwill as you help promote the Philippines as a destination for Austrian investments and tourism. We pay tribute to you, the overseas Filipinos, whose contributions to our national development are much, much appreciated. We honor each and every Filipino for doing his share to ensure that our democracy thrives and our country remains firmly on the path of peace and progress. I always believe in the capacity of every Filipino, including overseas Filipinos, to help our nation and our communities back home. I urge you to continue to live by the good values of the Igorot Filipino and contribute to the well-being of your community and your adoptive home, Austria. I would like to conclude by wishing everyone a most enjoyable evening, the rest of the evening. Enjoy the company of friends and kababayans and the community. Enjoy the cultural program and enjoy the lovely Grand Canyao tonight. Maraming salamat po. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas at mabuhay ang Austria. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. It was indeed to have you here with us tonight. It was a very informative and enlightening talk also. Now I know, and I will be more proud to be a Filipino because of what she just said. Tayo na lang ngayon na nagpapautang, hindi na tayo mamuutang.
And let's say aye to that, Madam. For more progress of our hometown, our beloved country, Philippines.
That verdant hills is a region of murmuring hills. Oh, yeah, yeah.
We have to give more of ourselves. We have to learn to work better and harder with each other, just like our forefathers had to do in order to survive as communities and as individuals in the harsh climate in the hinterlands of the Cordillera. Austria has a calmer milieu than the Cordillera, so there's no reason we cannot successfully attain the purpose of this organization. This is not the end, but it is just the beginning.